Right at it. Right at it. Oh,
Jordan
he's
Spieth.
done it again. Just as he did at the John Deere for his first win.
Hello and welcome in to episode number 185 of the Go Get That podcast. We are here, all three of us together. It feels like it's been a little bit more sporadic as of late, but good to see you fellas. Valspar recap, potential schedule update, Tiger Woods TGL season debut. Among the topics of discussion today. Of course, triple-double update for Houston as well. So plenty to get into. Hope you guys are doing well. Fun week at the Valspar? Fun-ish week at the Valspar? How would you sum it up?
Fun week. Yeah. Sometimes when I bet horses, you have your horse come in second and they run a good race. And Mr. Spieth did not finish in second. He did not contend, but he did quite a bit well. It could have went worse. I mean, we had high expectations, the three of us. He did not contend. Certainly had a chance to. He was the co-favorite on Thursday with Mr. M at about plus 650 at one point. And it went kind of downhill from there. I think he was 5 under through 7, and we shot 6 under for the tournament, and $52 donation to the Jordan Spieth Family Foundation, and a lot of birdies and eagle. It didn't, no contention, but a T11, some good golf, some continued good iron play. It could have went worse. He ran a good race. He played some good golf. It could have been better. Could have been worse, but T11, I mean, you can't be too mad at the T11, right?
Yeah, I think it's a pretty bittersweet week. I think the positive is I think it's a step in the right direction. There was a lot of good this week. There was a lot of good, but from a negative perspective, I think this basically is enough for me to cross him off for the Masters. It just wasn't what I need to see from him to this stage in the season. I'd be very shocked though if he plays poorly at the Masters. I'm actually quite convinced he'll finish somewhere in that T8 to T18 range. But there's a few things that I'm discouraged by this week in terms of not being enough to win the Masters. One, I know this has been a story for the last 8 years, but I mentioned this with Ryan. His inability to hit non-stock shots when you really just need to is not in a good spot. Every time he tries to take something off a club, it ends up short right in flare cutty. I think that you can't just hit stock shots around Augusta. You have to be a little more crafty. So there's that. Number two, I think the mentals are a little further away than I thought because I've been chalking up to mechanical issues, but I don't know, just the timing of when the bad shots came in and when the good shots came in and when the putts went in and when the putts didn't go in was enough for me to realize that there is still a mental hurdle there that he is not close to eclipsing, even though the golf swing is pretty darn good, I'd say. So that's where I stand. But I think overall it is a positive week because again, it's the Masters is not the only tournament this year, and I think in terms of the season outlook, this is still a step in the right direction, and we've been taking steps in the right direction for a while. So overall, I think it's a positive week. It's a good week. He finished T11 in a full field event and basically got as little out of it as possible. But I think that getting as little out of it as possible is why I just don't think he's sharp enough to win a major with 2 weeks to go. So that's where I stand on that.
I think that's a very solid analysis of the big picture in the short term. The next 2 weeks, it's hard to realistically talk yourself into a serious path of of victory at the Masters. I will say this week, even though the result T11 is similar to that of the I think was probably his best week of the year. Just in terms of the quality of play. I think 80% of this week was played at a tournament winning level. The other 20% was far from it. Uh, and I think in any tournament, I don't think, I mean, Scheffler at his best maybe plays the closest to 100%. But when you win tournaments, you're not going to play 72 holes of perfect golf. There's going to be ups and downs. And I think Spieth makes enough birdies and has enough volatility and just a history of that, even when he was playing well, that the percentage of him playing quote unquote perfect golf is, uh, you're going to have more unperfect golf and still be able to contend. Now, I think you're spot on, Bob, with the timing of when the bad shots occur. He seems to want to chalk them up to just bad timing, which I guess is probably the right way to think about it if you're actually hitting the shots. But I do think that it's only so often, it can only happen so often for it to be a coincidence, right? Like he's standing over the tee on 16 on Thursday. The water is so blatantly large and looming in the right, and that tee ball had no chance. Um, I think you look at the putts on the back nine on Sunday, and there was a real opportunity to kind of put some pressure on the leaders and really, really post a good score, post a number, put the name Spieth up on the leaderboard, and the putts weren't hit. They lacked enthusiasm. Great reads, which is, you could take the small silver lining in there, but they were hit pretty, they rolled end over end, but they were not hit with the right speed. Um, and I ultimately that's okay. Like, gonna have to get over that hurdle at some point if you want to achieve the goals that your career sort of has set out for you based on how it started. But I do think there was so much good this week. 4 shots gained on approach on Sunday. The driver was in a much better spot. Uh, some, I mean, the short game didn't have to do much this week. And I think that's kind of a testament to the rest of the game being played pretty well. Putts were made on Sundays, for the most part. So, some really, really good stuff. Some high level stuff. It just needs to be put together for more than 80% of the
I
tournament.
think it's well said in terms of just it's too much for it to be a coincidence, right? Like you look at how many chances he had to get to that 6 under number all week.
Yeah.
You look at all those putts that he made. What was it, Friday? Um, and then you're putting so well, and you miss 4 10-footers in a 5-hole stretch. Like one of those statistically almost has to fall if you're putting it the way that you have been the rest of the week. So it's almost like there's a different factor that has to be taken into account there. And it's discouraging from a standpoint of, we've been going through this now for 2 wins in 8 years, almost 9 years. So we want him to win, right? And it gets annoying and sick when you're lacking contention all the time. But I also think that whether Jordan contends this week or doesn't contend this week, he still probably doesn't win the Masters. So it's not the end of the world. It just would have been nice to feel like there was a real legit chance. Because those 2 3-footers on Thursday, like that's just you got to give him one at Augusta. Like one of those is gonna miss if he's playing well all week. You got to give him one really bad swing into the X on the yardage book. Like that's a given almost every week he plays. And then you almost have to give him a bailout and a water ball too. Um, with the way that his bad swings are bad swings. So if you're looking at it that way, that's 4 shots. Is Jordan's swing good enough to win the Masters and make up 4 shots to the fields? I don't think so right now. And so that's kind of where we are. So I think you got to tighten up those 4 shots and be ready for Aronimink and Shinnecock.
Birkdale.
And obviously I don't give those 4 shots to the field at the Open as I do the other 3, because it is incredible how he goes across the pond every year and has the ability to hit shots that he doesn't in America. Like he can hit flighted shots over. It's almost like he refuses to believe that they're required in the United States. Um, so I kind of separate the 3 majors from Birkdale. I think that we're headed in a position where Birkdale could be a very, very fun week. So that's just kind of where I stand. Like, yeah, it's unfortunate to rule out a win, but you look at Jordan's recipe. I get this question all the time. Like, if Rich Beam can win a PGA, or Mike Weir can win a Masters, why can't a 25th to 30th ranked Jordan Spieth win a Masters and pull a rabbit out of a hat? Because that's just not really the game he plays. He doesn't play. He doesn't play the spiking game. He's not someone who typically spikes. Um, he believes that he needs to be someone who contends week in and week out, and every week is to try and get to that, not necessarily just to play well that week. And that's just the reality. Um, he's not someone who's going to just spike out of nowhere, and win a major. He's got to be playing well going in, and I just don't think he's playing well enough. And has the experience and contention, because Jordan always says this too. Like, you don't just go into contention your first time at a major and win in recent memory. That's very rare to happen. You can't just, like, to win for Jordan's path to winning a major requires probably 2 or 3 contentions before
Close
that.
calls. Yeah.
Yeah. So, which is why you felt good about the 2021 Open, because he did have the Masters where he was on outside contention, and he was only 2.5 years removed from the PGA, and like there hasn't been contention deep in a major since then.
Yeah.
It's been 5 years. He's not just gonna be T6 going into the weekend at the Masters, which is very plausible, and win. Like, that's just not something he's gonna do. Like, you need to have those close calls. So that's just where I think he stands right now. I don't think it's a disaster at all. I mean, it's a 15-year outlook at the end of the day. So
And we're in year 2.
exactly, bright future.
Your dose. Well, I guess for a little bit, what are we, maybe 10, 15 minutes in? And I mean, obviously, it's a clickbait title to this episode. Got a little bit of news within the last hour or two. Shout out to George, a loyal Instagram follower of mine who hooked me up. We're recording this Tuesday night. Mr. Spieth was on the Gravy and the Sleaze Sirius XM show today with Colt Knost and oh no, Drew Stoltz, Mr. Stoltz.
Yes.
And clickbait title for those that are listening on Spotify. If you don't see my hat, I'm wearing an Atlanta Braves hat because Atlanta is in Georgia. If you didn't know that. And it appears that Mr. Spieth's next start might be in Georgia at the Masters. For those that were not able to listen to the Gravy and the Sleaze show, a lot of Masters talk and really no mention of Valero at all. He mentioned that he might go up to Augusta next Monday, early next week, and play a practice round, maybe with some Dallas guys, some Florida guys. And there really just wasn't any talk of Valero. And as we sit here tonight, Tuesday night, there's still no commitment from Jordan, which seems pretty unusual. That's not to say that, we might have a late change of plans, but Dan, I think you got to listen to it. Bob, I can shoot it over to you as well. It's a good 15-minute conversation that they had. Jordan sounds confident, which is good, but no talk of Valero. which is it's interesting. I don't hate it, but it's definitely interesting.
Uh,
Yeah, I wouldn't
I
hate it. I'd certainly still be shocked if he doesn't play.
Interesting. So if you get a chance to listen to it, and if Jordan can send it over to you, I think
Yeah.
you'll feel less shocked if he's not in the field. To me,
I
it
just
seemed
I
like
just look
he's
at it more from a standpoint of when's the last time
Never.
he's done something.
Never.
So hold on, I have to get my computer or battery, but I just I'll see it when I believe it. I
okay.
think there's a better chance that he's not talking about Valero because his mind's on the Masters. I don't think that means he's just not going to show up though.
That that is very plausible, but it doesn't give us a clickbait title, which
I
is
don't even think it's clickbait. I mean, you listen to it, and then I mean,
yeah, no,
you listen to it, Dan. That was 15 minutes, and
it's
I'm always a fan of clickbait.
it's it was great. It was a good 15 minutes. Sounds confident, feels good about the game, all that. I actually don't mind not playing.
No, I
Like
wouldn't mind either.
if he gets there early, I will say the one you know that if he doesn't play and then he gets to Augusta and there's a few quote unquote rusty shots because he hasn't been in tournament play in 2 weeks, that's going to be an absolute kick to the groin. So that would be my one. He doesn't, he has no idea this exists. Probably. Well, maybe that's not true. He's certainly not listening to my opinion, but damn it, I better not hear tournament rust come the Masters if you're going to not play Valero. But I do think the extra week off, why not a little bit of extra prep at Augusta? But I also appreciate your perspective, Bob, because I do think he could just be kind of counting Valero as Masters prep. I do. It was interesting that he mentioned it. It didn't even come up at all. He mentioned Houston this week, and he was going to play with Scotty uh tomorrow, I guess. And no kind of no mention of yeah, and then I'll go and tee it up at the Oaks and go shoot my 6 under and get ready for Augusta next week. But he didn't necessarily say he was going to be there Saturday or Sunday, which if he didn't play Valero, you would kind of expect to then be on site at Augusta the weekend prior.
on chip and
But if
putt.
right, if he's well, but get on the range and just go
Sammy
be
could be
out there
competing.
and be with
Yes.
be with B Watson. Is normally out there early. But I think there's a couple kind of small mechanical things to clean up. But I also think he's just playing some pretty good stuff, and it's kind of you lose an event where you've won before and you've played some top 10 level golf, and you're just taking it out as another opportunity to build confidence and build a chance at being in contention. I think is kind of the cons to not playing, but I don't mind him coming in super fresh for Georgia.
Comes the copyright strike because of Dan.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Well,
Yes.
if they've got Thomas Rhett doing covers, which by the way, not a by all means, no hate on Thomas Rhett. I'm just saying, why can't we get the OG Georgia, you know? Or let me do a cover. I can't
I'd
sing.
be fine for that. I mean, just looking here, actually. So Spieth last year to Valero committed on March 18th um, of last year.
So early.
So I'm trying to, it's March 24, obviously. I don't know the tournament dates last year.
But it's always the
Um,
week before the Masters. So it'd be April, early April.
yeah, so the Valero
I
last
think this is
year.
late to not have a commitment
Yeah,
at this
no,
point.
I agree. It is funny too, because he mentioned at Valspar that Valero would be a probably.
Yeah.
but he hadn't committed yet. So it's
So
like,
maybe we're just diving too deep into it. But what
I
I
mean,
guess
I don't
maybe the
think so.
would you rather him play or would you?
It's funny because Bob was kind of talking about the Masters chances, and I think it kind of perfectly reflects like what I've been saying about, the whole like where you got to be considered for the Masters. And he's currently on that, data golf, cut line of potential champions. It's, as I said, dating back to 2010, you got to be within the top 29. And he's currently 29. And over those next 2 weeks, if he skips Valero, there's no chance to move up, prove anything else, and he might drop to 30th. Then he's outside that top 29. And obviously it's a moot point. He's one spot out, but that's how you feel about the Masters chances at the moment, I think. They're like, if you're gonna give him a chance, it's like, I mean, you're kind of giving him a chance because you're being kind. Um, and so if he skips Valero, that's just like another opportunity that we don't have to, get into contention, which I think those reps would be useful. But at the same time, I think if he thought he was kind of in some dire straits, he'd play Valero. He feels pretty good about where he's at. He's kind of remarked about it a few times. Maybe we'll be previewing Valero a week from today, like Bob thinks. But it's certainly interesting. I think George, shout out again to George when he DM'd me, that's what he said. He said Jordan, didn't allude to Valero. It doesn't sound like he's going to play it, which kind of brings up another point. If he doesn't play Valero, is that just because he's, thinking of the Masters, or does that affect, some tournaments down the line? Obviously, with the new Trump Championship, the Cadillac, the Truist, like it's a pretty loaded May, and we've, kind of discussed a little bit. There's some decisions that are going to be made about that stretch. So I don't know if it has anything to do with each other. Probably not, but just some food for thought, kind of rambling, I guess. Just to go back to Valero a little bit more. Um, Dan, what was your overall take? Would you have if you had to sum up the tournament in one word, what would it kind of be?
From Valspar?
Yeah,
I think it would be in one word.
you can
It's a
get
good
up to two or
question.
three.
I'll take a couple words. I like the challenge of one word though. Put me on the spot here, so I got to think about it. Um, I would say like encouraged doesn't feel quite right. Uh, I think it's more just like, but I think that matches the like right amount of on a scale of negativity to positivity and words that fit in that scale. Encouraged feels like the right level of overall positivity. Um, it's also a missed opportunity in some sense. That was a very, very
Incredibly
winnable
winnable.
golf tournament.
Yeah.
I mean, he was standing on 11 tee or 11 green, 3 feet from going 6 under Thursday afternoon, and missed that. Missed another one on 12, and we find ourselves at 600 by the end of the week with the winner at 11. And you're like, man, make that putt, and you just have to play the last 61 and 6 under. And we played the next 62 and 1 under. It's like the amount of iron shots, the amount of birdies that were made. So I think opportunity is a decent word because you could put missed in front of it, or you could put opportunity to kind of build off of it and keep getting better and keep knocking on the door of contention here.
Yeah.
Be my take. Do either of you guys have a one word summary? It's kind of a hard. It's always hard to describe Spieth with one.
Annoying.
Yeah, it's not a bad one.
I think that's fair. I did want to mention the stacks. I texted you this, Dan, regarding kind of the what he's kind of said are like bad shots at the right time. I will say it was the best week off the tee of the year.
Yeah.
Kind of, there's not a whole lot of, it's a low bar, but if he hits an average tee shot Thursday on 16, he's fourth off the tee for the week. He was striping it. I know that was a poor tee shot. Um, But I even said this to the players, and I've kind of been saying this. I think the driver is a little bit better than it looks. He is kind of on some holes just hitting the absolute worst shot. If he could just get it in play, even like I'm not. We have a member of our chat who's like, "Oh, we should just bail out." Like I don't think that's a good recipe to have. But I mean, there are a bunch of dudes going left on 16 and making par. I'm not asking them to hit it into the damn trees, but you hit it in the water, it's finite. Like you're making double bogey probably. I mean, did the same thing at Sawgrass. He freaking toes one into the water. It's like, dude, just get it in play. Um,
Yeah.
so very good with the driver this week. I mean, again, as I said, he's fourth off the tee. He just gets it on place on 16 Thursday, and it was still besides that a good week. I think you mentioned Danny was what 10% if you're the
Yeah.
boomers and you just like driving accuracy. I think he was plus 10%, which was like the highest
Yeah,
he'd
yeah. I
been
was just
since
gonna
the
ask.
Masters.
Oh,
I
I
think
was gonna
Sorry,
clarify
also,
sorry,
on
Dan.
that. No, you're good. You're good.
I think also in regards to the driver, like there's something about, or not just the driver, but the off tee game in general. You can look at that tee shot in 16 in two ways. You can be like, yes, he put a terrible swing on it at a terrible time, which makes you question where he is in terms of the mental game in contention. But you can also say he's at least confident enough in his swing to not bail out, which we see him do all the time. So he was confident he could hit that shot. He just didn't execute it because he just wasn't ready for that moment, clearly. But at least he was confident enough to make the decision to hit that shot because we've seen him over the years bail out a lot off the tee when he's not in control of his medals. So you can definitely look at it from a positive light from that sense.
Yeah. They also mentioned in this on the with Colton and Stoltz might be a new three wood entering the bag. So, because if you think about it, it has been some tough wood threes and hybrids as
Terrible
of late.
threes.
And that's not how it's been. I feel like in years past, I felt pretty confident with the three wood clubbing down and hitting a tight draw, or even a bullet kind of low fade to get something in play. And it just hasn't been the case this year. Back to Jordan's kind of final point there, real quick. Driving accuracy and distance relative to the field were both over 5. So he gained 5 yards relative to the field, gained, I think it was almost 10% in accuracy relative to the field. Now, Valspar is tough because fairways are so narrow. So you can hit a pretty good tee ball and it rolls into the rough, whatever it might be. But it's almost sort of better and boosts that stat in some way. And like Jordan was saying, that's the best accuracy he's had since the Masters, like relative to a field since the Masters of 2025. And the first
Yeah.
time he's gained or he's been more accurate than the field in 2026. And the first time he's been more accurate relative to the field since the Open in 2025. So, by all accounts, especially with the driver, felt like the best week of control in a long time. And the numbers would back that up. Gave himself a lot of chances to, I mean, Valspar fits his game. Like we now have a course fit for him. You hit a lot of shots from inside of 150, probably going to play pretty well. But just another kind of encouraging number or trend from the past week that I thought was noteworthy, especially with the tournaments and the stretches coming up here.
Well said. I had one more stat I wanted to pull up that I'm not even sure of, but I was looking at Data Golf's approach feature. It was a good week with the like mid irons. I know he went up in strokes gained per shot quite a bit. I'm curious, just like the boomer proximity stat that was all fine and dandy if he went up quite a bit too. And I went up 6 spots from 150 to 175. Maybe 175 to 200. He would have went up a little bit too. No, he didn't. Okay, so maybe I was off a little bit, but I feel like he went up a little bit. But good. The approach Play was again really good. It's like, what are your concerns right now, fellas? It's just like it feels like closing out rounds, putting it all together, and I think that's where some of the pessimism regarding the Masters is, especially if he doesn't play Valero. It's like, dude, you haven't even proved to us that you can close out a round. Like I'm thinking, I was out walking earlier thinking about Jordan and the Masters as we get close, and it's like I can see him being 3 under through 12 and then going to 13 and
Man,
putting one in the drink and making a bogey. And it's
yeah,
like,
like I
you're not
certainly hate to be the
maximizing the
guy
score.
that I certainly hate to be the guy that says that is the concern, and that's a terrible concern to have,
I've
right?
seen it
Like
a million times, though.
that is not a winning proposition of a concern to have, especially when it's happened as often as it has. No matter how good the golf swing is, if the more rounds you have like this, the more it creeps into your head the next time it happens.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't think Spieth is going to be that confident standing on 12T if he's 4 under on Thursday.
Well, yeah, to that point, I could very easily see it be 4 or 5 under standing on 18T and the magnet in the trees on the left or the magnet in the trees on the right. And you're staring six in the face and you're looking at a 67 dwindle to a 69, moving you down 8 spots on the board.
I'm playing
And
better than,
right, again, playing better than I shot, the wrong time to hit the bad tee ball, the whole thing. Um, but so I do in some ways, because he has played 6 out of 7 weeks. I do in some ways think maybe 2 weeks off could be decent for the mental reset because it's each trip has gotten better as it's gone on. I think so I want to give Cam McCormick again some credit. I feel like he's done a pretty good job. I feel like Spieth's done a good job getting the swing in order.
really.
Um, and maybe 2 weeks off, some competitive games, a trip up to Augusta, get some good weather. Hopefully we get a firm Masters and let's go. Let's go compete. Why not?
Our guy's a
But
competitor. I mean, I told Bob, Spieth's got a great chance at the par three this year. I mean, with the wedge play revitalized, I mean, he's probably
Would
got,
you be celebrating that as the possibility of the start of a huge comeback if you were to grab
yeah,
that
I
trophy?
mean, I assume we'll be doing a live podcast that Wednesday night. I mean, I can only imagine. I mean, there's a bunch of great champions that have won the par three.
I mean, yeah,
will
you
he
look
not?
at especially since you look at a lot of people who win the par three are people that go on to win after that. Pretty sure Fowler the year before he won the Rocket Mortgage was the par three champion.
I
Unless I have my
just
year off. I'm pretty sure 4 or 5 years ago, No Bogey Hoagie won the par three championship.
That's true.
It's
I
actually phenomenal. If you look up the par three on Wikipedia, it shows you what they finished in the Masters that week. That is
Really?
phenomenal. Yes, no par
It's
three winner has ever won the
won the
Masters.
Masters.
yes. Well,
Yeah.
that curse is long known, but I mean, if I've already crossed Spieth off, then I guess the par three contest is our Super Bowl this year.
Could be, could be. I think Sammy will get a club though, and he'll get the DQ.
Right. I was gonna say the self-inflicted WD of sorts was coming. That ball will be picked up and moved by S. Spieth for
He'll be on the
sure.
prowl. He'll be on the
Yeah,
prowl. And I think Sophie will be chasing around too.
wouldn't shock me. What's the
Wow,
third one's name?
Sully, Sullivan.
Sully. Yes.
Don't know if he'll be on the prowl.
He,
Might
he
be.
could be a liability out there.
Why? It is crazy that we're nearly there, and it might be our next tournament,
Yeah.
which is for the first time in Spieth history. But I mean, look, Rory is what he's going to miss 3 weeks in a row going into it. Scotty WD'd from Houston this week, so he's going to be two off. Rom, Bryson, all the live dudes. I don't think they have another.
I
What? It'll
think
be
they
two
play.
weeks.
I wanted to say they play a week before,
Interesting. I assume it's in the U.S., right?
but I'm not sure. I feel
I'm
like they
looking.
wanted to do that to get geared up for the majors.
You would be incorrect. at least before
They
the
don't,
Masters.
they
They
don't play. Okay.
no, they play the week after April 16th through the 19th.
Interesting.
At Chapultepec. Good old Chapultepec.
I go from Augusta to Chapultepec.
Yes, and I believe Liv plays the week before the PGA at
Okay.
Trump National in DC. But so yeah, I mean, all the favorites are going to be taking 2 weeks off before the Masters for the most part. Bryson, Rom, Rory, Scotty, and maybe Jay Spieth. But I don't have anything else. I don't know if we want to review triple double last week, and then we could get into Houston. I think we're going to get into Houston tonight.
I'm ready to roll on Houston.
Yeah.
I'm good to go.
Alrighty. I mean, we can review last week, right, on triple zeros, matching Bob's Phoenix performance. Griffin, McCarty, and Taylor with triple zeros. Dan had the big man of the week, who could have been a lot more, but
Yeah. Well, to be fair, what did I get out of him?
382,958.
Okay. That's pretty disappointing considering he had the solo lead for 3 days. But I think if you guys play an M the rest of the year and get 382, you would be very happy with that. So I will gladly take my 382. It was a decent. Spieth was what, 180?
Nah, 211.
Okay. It's not too bad for some mid-tier players. Um so we'll see. I'm getting close. Lowry was close. Schauffele was close.
Sound like Spieth.
Spieth very close. See, here's one more thought on him. He's very, very close to contention. But like there's a difference between being close to contention and winning.
Yes.
And
Very much so.
Well
that's
said.
kind of the where we stand. I will say, and Bob likes to bring this up because it's very true. He shows you when he's gonna win. And he's not showing that, and I would argue that he is showing that I don't want to say
Yeah.
it's close, but it's like it's almost tangible. Like the 4 straight weeks gaining with approach. I texted Jordan when the last time this was, but Bob, do you know the last time he gained in 4 straight tournaments with the irons?
Not at all.
Do you have a guess?
With the irons?
It's maybe not as well, I don't want
Was it
to.
last summer?
No. 2023. It's been 3 years since he's played this well, in theory.
Yeah, that's not good.
So
Better late than never.
yeah, and
Yes.
that correlated to some decent play. Obviously, it was a T4 at Augusta going toe to toe with Phil until he got beat by one of the greats to ever do it on the 18th. But
Into said left trees.
yes,
Yeah,
left trees. I believe it was a 5, and Mickelson pounced with a circle to
Oh,
go
it was a
one up.
pounce.
Yes, it was a pounce and a fist
It was a
pump.
fist bump.
And a solo 2, I believe, or T2.
Yeah, Mickelson is coming for blood at this year's Masters.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, how did he finish at South Africa?
I believe
He had a low number, I think, on Saturday.
Okay.
I believe it was a 64 for Phil on Saturday. Yes.
Just wait till the grounds of Augusta are murmuring as Mickelson plots a 64 to take a
Yes.
3-shot lead into Sunday.
Now, did he lose by 19? Yes, but it was a warm up for Phil. First tournament.
First
then-
tournament back, getting the rust off.
Correct.
He shot a 64 and lost by 19.
Well,
That's,
well,
that's incredible.
26 under got you into a playoff down under.
Bro, I mean, it's kind of, I think Data Golf has a thing, and Rom has been the best player in the world in 26.
Yep. I didn't realize how good he's actually playing.
Yeah, and
Until I
DeChambeau,
looked
like,
at it.
they're both playing like legit, really good golf.
Yeah.
but like where are they? I don't know.
Some of the
2600.
courses are hard.
Yeah. No, I'll give him credit. I will say true. I forgot that it's not 3 rounds anymore.
Yeah.
I was thinking 26 through 3 rounds is crazy, but that's not the case.
They
So what did
yeah,
Phil shoot in his other rounds? And
it
was
was a
it a
tough start.
72?
Phil went 75 to begin, lost
Okay.
6.7 strokes to the field. Uh, um, 67, 64, 61. So three straight rounds in the 60s.
He shot 61?
71,
Oh,
67,
okay.
64, 71.
Okay.
Um, Tied with the majestic Poulter.
Oh, Holtz. He
Miss some of
Hopefully,
these
Poltz
names.
is qualified for Augusta.
No,
no, Mr. Poulter had his chance in 19, and
Yes.
he let
he did.
Tiger walk through that door. Him and Molinari,
Yes, of course.
who
How could we
also
forget?
fell off the face of the earth.
He did.
True.
But
Ooh,
rightfully,
I had Go ahead.
I was gonna say not rightfully so, but just like for a guy like Molinari, you peak and that's your career. Like
Yeah.
kudos to him. He
Well,
won a major.
he won a major. Yeah, he'll
Yeah,
be all
and then
right.
5-0 at the Ryder Cup. Like he's okay. Um, what was I gonna say? I don't know. So
I
I'll
rudely
I'll talk.
interrupted you.
No, you're
Um,
good.
well,
I
I had
don't
one
think
more thing before we get into Houston triple double. Um, Spieth to 59th in the OWGR, which is important for us for the first time in 10 years because we need to qualify for the US Open, which stinks. But easiest way in is to be top 60 in OWGR on May 18th. So a little less than 2 months, but for the first time all year, Jordan's within that um, number, which is
does
nice.
a top 10 at the Masters get him in?
Let's see here. I don't think so.
Okay. It might be a
Um,
top 4.
Top 10 at the no. Looking. I don't know. The US Open's hard to get into. Um, Inside the top
You see
60.
Spieth at local qualifying.
Hopefully
Yeah. I
not.
will say like the thing about 59th, like the Masters, if he puts together his best week of the season, he's into the US Open. Like there's, a top 5 at the Masters gets you more OWGR points than he's had in a long time. And that will do him wonders considering the missed cuts that are coming off the back end right now, making that divisor. Maybe it's a tactical play to skip Valero, let a event come off the divisor, and then just
Maybe.
go get a top 5 at Augusta and firmly slot himself at 42nd in the OWGR.
Jay Danzy doing the math. Like Jordan, you got 4 spots if you don't play. Don't want to risk it. Don't want to risk it.
Incredible.
He's had to have thought about the US Open this year. Had to have.
You'd certainly
Maybe
hope. I mean,
early,
it's
yeah. I think at this point he's probably like feeling pretty so good that he just is not thinking about it.
Yeah. But I assume he knew that his exemption's up.
yeah, has
I
to.
I would hope so.
He
You
probably
would.
thought it was a lifetime exemption. I mean, in fairness, his Open and Masters exemptions are a little bit stronger.
Yeah, it is funny that they don't. It's only 10 years.
Yeah, it kind of stinks. I mean, the Opens, they say the boomers like get out of our tournament, which also kind of sucks. Like Daly's not even, he can't play the Open anymore.
I feel like it should be instead of to your 60, it should be like 30 years after you win.
Yeah.
So
I
you
don't know. I
get,
love how Augusta does it.
yeah, you're just in it forever.
Yeah.
until you don't want to ruin your stats anymore.
Yeah.
Yes. Well,
I
Thobble.
mean, Olafable's
Right.
prime
Well,
competitor this year.
yeah. No, exactly. I mean, him and Mickelson penultimate pairing on Saturday is going to be chills.
Thank you for that. That would be fantastic.
I
That would
mean,
get some incredible crowds.
Well, it's
yes.
always the best when it's Olafable shot one to the first fairways, leaves himself like 235 in.
He's
Yeah.
soft like first because it's like very soft in the morning.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
one year where they had to do split tees. He teed off on, I think he teed off on 10 and he had like 280 into the 11th
280 into the
at like
11th.
6:30 in the morning.
It's a three-shotter for Olafable.
13 a three shotter for sure.
Oh, for sure. But yeah,
15 playing in the 14 fairway.
I remember the opening three one year for Olafable. Believe it was driver wood putter.
That's awesome.
At a top the leaderboard he went.
That's great.
Posted the number. They had the
Yeah.
manual scoreboard updated there.
Yeah,
Olafable.
slap Olafable T1.
It's a red one for Olafable.
We'll have to. I think the tee times come out Tuesday, right? Some of the groups might get released earlier, but I think it's always kind of fun
Traditional.
thinking about who gets paired with who, because they do a pretty good job of keeping groups pretty balanced. And obviously I mean, sort of briefly mentioned it, but Tiger Woods is hitting golf shots right now.
How's it going for Jupe?
I've not checked in, but I curious to see because that obviously throws the whole thing for a loop. If Tiger plays.
I'm
It's not
seeing
good
from
for
our
our
chat
coverage.
a Vamos Thigala. That can't be good.
2-2 on hole 7.
Nice.
Interesting.
Believe Jupiter needs a big comeback.
I have made it firm that it'll be rigged to reach a match 3 for 36 holes of woods.
That would
Just
be great.
saying.
Great for the
Yeah.
sport.
But yes. But are we ready for Houston triple double?
Yes.
Yes.
Dan, you're the leadoff batter here.
Batting first. Batting first. The third baseman. I will go Sam Burns.
That sucks.
Why does
I
it
like
suck?
I like Burns this week.
Yeah. I think you really just have to hit it far here and make a lot of putts. I was thinking about picking Scheffler,
Certainly not now.
but obviously he's got money games with Mr. Spieth to go attend to.
And a kid.
Would have been an interesting pick this week.
True.
He's got a kid too. All right, I'm second. Dan's catching up to me. I've already used. I'll go with the defending champ. I'll go Minwell.
I don't hate that.
Yeah, actually, my second and third guys, I don't think are going to be bombers. So, yeah, we'll go with the bomber and Mr. Lee.
Sounds good. I will go with Thor Bjornsson.
Orbs.
My first
Thor.
one. I think he'll play well this week.
That's
And then I
native.
will. Yes. And then I will go with Mr. Gary Hoodland.
Oh, come
Ooh.
on.
Gary. That'd be a pretty
Yes.
cool story if Gary won this week and got into the Masters. I assume we get him into all majors if
great.
he won this week. You wanted Thor, didn't you? Or you wanted Woodland?
I wanted Mr. Woodland.
Ooh. I don't think Bob's used Thor Bjornsson yet. No.
No.
And
Thor Bjornsson hater.
Gary.
be honest.
Easy to hate per inside sources.
Yeah. Very.
Did it to himself. Does it ring around to me now? Think so?
Believe so.
Who picked second?
Me. So I'm up.
Then yes.
I will go. I used him twice. No. I'll go to one of my fan favorite players. We'll go with Harry Hall.
Nice.
Nice.
I like Harry, the Englishman.
Good player.
Yes, he's proper. He's proper.
He's
I
a
do think
proper
he
lad.
doesn't. He does have a PGA. He won the ISCO, if that counts.
Yes.
I think he'll win
Counts.
another event in the near future.
He had
I
that
agree.
great. He like chipped in, I believe, on the playoff.
So what he does, he chips and he putts the crap out of the golf ball. It's just everything else.
does.
It's a work in progress.
I
Um,
will be finishing with Mr. Clark. There's no way I used them twice, right?
have you used them once?
I believe I have.
You have used them once.
Okay. It'll be Mr. Clark
Farmers.
and Mr. Finau.
Ooh, big tone.
Big hitters.
That's who I was gonna take. Makes my decision
decision.
easier now because I was between two guys.
I'm up and then you're last, right, Bob?
I know. Yep.
Okay.
This guy.
No, you've used Finau once, Dan. All right, so he's gone.
Yes. I'm done with Big Tone.
Lucky you. I have a joke I won't make. I can't make. I'm last. I will go. I can't use Ben Griffin again. That's probably for the greater good. Speaking of one more thing, I'll make my last pick. Spawn and Griffin, very interesting starts to 2026 after big 2025s for both of them. Just want to throw that in there. They have both struggled mightily. Be interesting to see if both of them are left off the President's Cup team. But anywho, I could use Griffin again. I can't go back to him after last week. That ain't happening.
That was
I will.
pretty terrible.
Yeah, he's in a world of hurt right now. I will go with good old. I've used him once, right? Just to make sure. I don't think I've used him yet. I'll go Harris English.
All right, I'll take that.
It's a good pick.
I'll go Harris English. I thought I used him once. I guess I didn't.
I will go with Nikolai.
Algegaard. It's a good pick.
It's a good
As
pick.
Blute looks to continue his domination on the field.
Yeah, it is dominant nation.
Can Blute get to the double up after this week?
That'd be troublesome for Dan and I. It's a big 2-week stretch coming up.
The triple zeros were tough. That was tough.
Yeah, as Dan said, as he texted me though, it's a good week to have the triple zeros.
It is. Yeah, it definitely is.
But the Masters RBC will be a lot of cash on the line. Speaking of one more thing with Spieth, what if Spieth is skipping Valero to show up at the Zurich?
Yeah, could be that.
Halfway joking. That would be dreadful, fellas.
That would be
Thomas needs a partner. Needs to get some reps in.
You can dial up Fowler.
Yeah, exactly. I just have no interest in watching that tournament.
I like Fowler's chances this week.
He needs
Fowler's
it.
Interesting. He needs it. He really needs it.
And I think that's probably why he won't play well, just because I think the pressure of the Masters will be a little bit too much.
Bob, will you be rooting for Fowler this week?
Sure.
If he has a putt on 18 from 10 feet to make the Masters, will you be rooting for it to go in?
That's tricky because I would like to see him in the Masters, but I mean, that would just be so good if that didn't go in. Like, I don't even know whether I'd want to go in. I think I'd just be indifferent and take reap the benefits that both. So I guess.
I know some folks that we associate with that would love if that putt missed.
Yeah, we do.
We
do know said associates.
If he doesn't get something this week, he has to win Valero. Or no?
Correct.
Okay, so Houston.
What was he doing not playing last week? We will never know.
Yeah, I have no clue.
He's a gamer. He's gonna T31 this week, and it'll be.
Can you be a gamer and not play when you need to play to get into the Masters?
Yeah, that's a great question. What does he need? Let's go to the Ricky Fowler tracker.
Like a top 5.
Oh, yeah, he's
And he's
tied.
not in for the US Open or the Open either, which is crazy considering he's 18th in the DG ranks, but he's 61st in the OWGR.
A massive week is you'll need a top 5 to qualify for the Masters. That's incredible.
Kind
How
of
did he
shocked none
not?
of us played him because of that.
How did he not play Valspar?
Week off.
That is incredible. I will say
You do get
the
it. Go ahead.
the T like 41 at the Players didn't help. I thought he played some decent stuff and he could have definitely Saturday. I mean, you played 3 rounds with Spieth at the Players. You're not going to be in a great finish spot. So,
Got sawgrassed.
yeah, but that's tough because that was a good chance to get a T. Honestly, like the more I looked at his numbers, he's in fine form, but he's not. He's, there's nothing like terribly special about what he's doing right
No, no, no,
That's
no,
kind of
no,
who he
no.
is as a golfer.
now. Yeah, let's be real here. Like, all right, a
He's playing
T18,
solid golf, but
T18,
nothing.
T18, T19, T28, T9 was the stretch. And he was gaining like 1.9 around. Like, I guess if you parlay that over a year, you're doing something pretty well. But I mean, a T28 out of T19, T28, T9 at signature events isn't like crazy,
Yeah.
crazy good. But yeah, the
What's also
T40
funny, I think last week would have been a much better course fit for him.
agreed. Yeah, putting, driving accuracy, approach.
He was here last year too, and he was T52.
Oh,
Will need to
and
be
he
improvement.
in Houston.
Yeah.
Damn. I will say no major for him is tough. He was plus 4.62 at the 2018 Masters, just looking at his page. That's brutal.
That is
That is
brutal.
tough to
Agreed.
not win there. 0.4.4 at the 2014 Open.
He's had bad luck. He's just not a closer with the
Yeah.
players. But Bob, you got anything else?
Not that I can think of. Just looking forward to a week without the stress, while looking forward to the future of the next month holds.
Yeah, we'll see if we're back next week or not. I mean, I think all 3 of us probably hope we are, but if we're not,
I don't
then
really mind, to be honest. I don't think playing Valero really helps him in any way.
yeah, that's fair.
So
That's fair.
it's up to him. Whatever he thinks is best. I mean, he's usually wrong, but
Yeah, he'll pick incorrectly. But until next time, we'll see if we're back next week, and if we're not, we'll see you guys Masters Week live probably. So
Yeah.
yeah, we will.
Crazy.
until next time, everyone,
Peace out.
take care.